And we're live, straight from, I'm just kidding. Straight from Susan's room. Sacred Bubble is back.
My
My name's
apartment is the sacred bubble.
Yes, it really is though. Dude, Michael's, the craft place keeps messaging me and I don't know how to stop this.
You can probably unsubscribe.
I know, but they don't have that like in the text, so you know how like sometimes it'll say to opt
Stop.
out. Press stop, yeah. Type stop. It doesn't have that, so I'll have to figure that out.
Sure you will.
Thanks. Thanks for your support.
That stuff's so funny.
All right.
Like, I'll unfollow someone. It's just like, you could probably think of who I'm talking or like certain people that we've talked about before, but I can even like unfollow someone, follow whatever, and like I'll still get notifications to be like, check out to see what this person's doing. And I'm just like, I unfollowed them for a reason.
I know.
Or I just not like for a reason, but just unfollowing them. Like, it's funny how they should definitely pick up on it, but it's like they're playing, I don't know, they're playing with their emotions. I know it's
No,
not
I
the
have
same
so many.
at all, but it's like I unsubscribed and you're still trying to get me to subscribe
Yeah, you're
indirectly.
taunting me with their profile picture.
So crazy.
Yeah, I have a lot of old people in my life that like still come up on my Facebook of just like people you may know. I'm like, yeah, I know them. Doesn't mean I want to talk to them.
Yeah.
Yep, I
I
know
may
'em.
know. You mean the old version of me knew them.
Yeah, right.
That's how I think
No
about it. It's
idea
like,
who
I
they
don't
are.
actually know any of those people. Like, I know of
Oh,
you.
no.
I know, like, whatever memory I have of you, but do I know you? No, definitely don't.
No, absolutely. We're totally different
Definitely
people
don't.
now from our childhood.
Trying.
I'm nowhere close to what I was. So that's, you know,
True
but
that, girl.
like you're saying, my Saturn return is coming to an end and I feel it so,
Yeah, should I
just
give
so,
space to talk about Saturn a little bit?
yeah, sure.
All right, I'm going to pull up our charts.
Yeah,
Saturn's
I'm just
been
like crazy.
so the way that I want to like share things is like whatever I'm like excited about. So like I was excited about Pluto, so I'm going to share more about Pluto. And right now I'm being so drawn to Saturn, which I'm not used, it's not like normal for me. But I guess that's good because it's like want to be well-rounded. But yes, you have a Saturn. Oh, I thought your Saturn was in Pisces for some reason. It's not. You've had your Saturn. We both went through our Saturn returns already. However, it doesn't mean that they're both not like major influences in our life and what we talk about regularly, like in our conversations. Um, so like you have yours in the seventh house of relationship, partnership, one-on-one clients, like right in the middle of that house. And that's like a really big house. Your first house and seventh house are huge. I know that's not it's not right. It actually hits, that's what I thought it was. It actually hits right in the middle of your houses, seventh and sixth, like literally is on the angle
Yeah,
that
that
splits
separates them.
those. Yeah, the sixth house of work, day-to-day work, day-to-day life in that regard, your health and your relationships, one-on-one relationship intimacy. So
Mm,
I'm sure you can think about how that, relates in your life. For those of you who don't know, Saturn is the father, the time lord, as they would call it. It's the hard work, it's the discipline, it's the area in your chart where you have to continuously put in the work. And like the beautiful thing is like you'll fail a lot in those areas most likely. And depending on your view of failure, but you'll learn a lot. And it's rewarding because it's like you'll get to look back and see the incremental steps that it took to get there. And that's your unique position in life. Like wherever Saturn's set up is where you uniquely grow and will continuously grow in this area that is like also relates to the most masculine person in your life, the person that played that role or more of a dominating role or that disciplinary role. So that may equate to those parts in your chart, and we both have the same Saturn, we both have Aquarius. However, we're in different places. So that's what's also cool about it is like you may share a similar placement as someone, but it may not be in the same specific area. So it doesn't mean like those ways in your life where like Aquarius relies on those is like you're going to do things differently. You may enter in a way that is conforming or seems like normal, but like you create your own twist on it. There's like the rebellion area, there's more intuition in these areas of your life, more higher mind, more. That's why sometimes if you relate to that, you can get very analytical about these areas of your life. And almost in a way, it's helpful for Aquarius to disassociate, but sometimes it's not. So it's like that understanding of your own unique path, but that's also where you aren't going to necessarily see what you have with other people, right? It's going to be very unique. Um, you may not have, the same work relationship, the same kind of relationship as other people. It will just be different. And it's like what we were talking about, how I've recognized that with Saturn. So yeah, our Saturns are a little farther apart. Mine is right on the edge of my 11th house. So Aquarius mostly takes up my 10th house, but there's a small portion that is in the 11th house with Pisces. And it sits right on the top of my chart, and it's where I have to learn that I just don't fit in, where I'm unique, because that's like the role that I play in life, in my career. So it's like a broader, yours is more intimate, more on your day to day. Mine's more broad.
Interesting.
But it's still like specific, like it's my life still, literally, like the relationship with career and the role that you play in like in that area of your life. And it's just learning that there's more rebellion there, there's more, and there's like there's still a discipline there because it's Aquarius is traditionally ruled by Saturn, but it's different. It's a different kind of, it's more mental. So like breaking free from mental constraints and then also like seeing futuristic things in these areas, seeing how things are going to be different, like being a little ahead of the game in these areas where people don't quite see it, but they will, but they don't quite. It's like you have to like people have to catch up with you too, and so, depending on the placement as well. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I definitely resonate with the stress that comes along with like my intimate relationships
Yeah, the
and
work.
the work. Yeah. Shouldn't say stress, really. It's like the work that comes with that, and I just think that I put a lot of thought and energy into my relationships, and it's just been a constant work in progress. And I feel better in the relationships that I'm in, so there's definitely been a progression, but I'm constantly overthinking if I'm overthinking
Yeah. Yeah.
about
Well,
that specific, like, um not so much my work, but definitely like my relationships. I'm constantly overthinking, um, and trying not to.
yeah.
And just learning, I guess just really learning how to communicate um effectively with different types of people, because that's a stress for me. That's like a
That's
stress.
also like one of the traits of Saturn and Aquarius as well.
Interesting.
That's actually, now that you say that, like, I remember literally hearing those words from an astrologer, and that's the area of your life where you would bring that to.
Mm, yeah, it
That's
just
that
seems
is where, like, that's because it's a very intimate place.
yeah, it's going well, I think. I think it's going
Yeah.
well. Sometimes I can be avoidant of of it, but I think there's always a healthy avoidance to certain things. It's like, I just don't wanna overwhelm myself with, just taking a
Wouldn't
break
call
from
it
people
avoidance
and
then. It's probably just, like, healthy relationship to it.
yeah, taking breaks and
Definitely. That can be understandable because it's, like, the same place. It's like it opposes Leo, so we also want recognition too. There's, like, a certain recognition we also want in that area, and I can see that in my chart because I have a 4th house, Leo, which is parents, foundations, ancestral ancestry, emotional security, and the role that I played. What would be the word? The role that I've played up until more recently in my life, felt like more like a default, but it definitely, um, fed those wounds. It definitely fueled the things even that make sense to what we've talked about, not to keep doing this, but there are certain things we will and will not talk about. But, like, certain things that we've talked about, recently, and how it's showing up in those areas where, like, I no longer need recognition in these areas of my life. I can now focus on the future change or having this specific placement, and it's at a mastery degree. So, like, things will take the time that they take, pretty much. Like, your role is going to change, but a role change that affects every area of your life doesn't just change. There's a layering in this area of your life, right?
yeah.
There's a little bit more to look at. It's an Aquarius degree. You have, I think it's 16. 16, yeah. Yeah, you have a Cancer degree. Interesting. Yours has a lot more compassion, a lot more responsibility, even feelings of responsibility. But yeah, there's just this area, this is this time in our lives, and then a lot's gonna be changing next year, but I've been just really drawn to Saturn. Saturn will move into Aries next year, and a lot will move really quickly, and you may be feeling it, and, like, this is where I'll move away from, like, naming the astrology and just say, like, "We were just talking about this," and now to, like, actually talk about this kinda in a different way, like, in our about our lives is just the feelings that I have right now about my life when I actually take a step back. Like, we were talking about, like, really taking that step back and seeing, because so much is happening, whether being triggered in this area, change in this area, like, feeling yourself outgrow, right? We know in numerology it's the year of the 9, it's death, and then we also know that it's the snake year in Chinese, astrology as well. So there's just so much that's shedding. You may especially feel this in certain areas of your life, wherever you feel like you may be going back and forth in your life, or you feel like you keep coming to a similar pattern, and you're consistently having to make different decisions on how you react to something or different situations, um, dynamics in your life, then just know that it's all a part of the change that's happening, that you're rebuilding faith in that area. Or possibly, whether you believe that or not, like, you're rebuilding faith in this area of your life. That's what I've noticed personally. Every day is different, but I feel like I'm just rebuilding faith that consistent discipline in that to that mindset and to that shift, and actually letting myself feel that mindset and feel that shift within me and trust that, um, I have a lot less that I'm, like, leaking out of me energetically, and I can pull back into myself and not, like, lose connection with myself just to be understood, just to be seen, connected to. Um, it it's losing its interest. It's like when I overindulge in something where I finally get sick of it. It's like I've overindulged in that certain kind of connection and energy for so long that it just doesn't feel right anymore. It's like a natural outgrowing. You may be feeling that in your life, but it doesn't always feel comfortable, even if it's a natural evolution.
Yeah, the comfortability usually comes after you've gone through all the uncomfortable stuff with it, where it's like that's the place where you're healed is when it becomes comfortable. I think, like, you're talking about being like fed up with something, like change is inevitable. And I think um there's a certain point where everybody, whether the change is good or bad, like eventually you get to a cross in the road. And I think we have to make certain choices.
What kind of choices are you making for you? What do you feel? What comes to your mind?
Well, I think the big theme for me now is, I think, well, there's a couple of things. One is what I mentioned earlier about like the connections that I have with people and understanding like what is my limit on, how much am I giving? How we had talked about, and you briefly mentioned it. It's like pulling back the energy, like calling back into myself, calling back parts of me that I've just overextended energetically, and how doing something like that makes me feel whole again. And feeling whole is just
Yes, that's
that
it.
peace and the comfort and feeling like things are actually right and as they should be. And I'm not running around ragged with my head cut off energetically, like not physically, but um, I think I ponder way too much on being liked or being um, all very similar things to you of just, even like comparing myself to other people or, comparing myself especially to people in my life that I adore and honor and you know, look up to in different ways and respect. Not even strangers. It's mostly that where the people closest to me, I still can have some hypervigilance, especially in my relationship to my partner, because they are the closest person to me and I see them every single day and we have interactions every day. So still being the person that I want to be and not overextending myself for even them is, I think I'm trying to shift into a more comfortable place.
And that would be like who you really are.
Yeah.
And it's like a blessing that you can do that in your relationship.
Yeah. And it doesn't look pretty.
No, it's
A
not.
lot of the times it does not look pretty.
No, it doesn't.
And, um,
It's really uncomfortable.
because this person sees you so vulnerably, like they may think that they know the best parts of you or the worst parts of you, and they have like so many parts of me that I've hidden and that we spoke about earlier is, you know, being authentically myself is having being upset and being messy and and crying and being loud and being obnoxious and being silent and being like those that is all of me, and I can't fully show up as myself if I'm hiding parts of me because I want to be perceived as someone who's peaceful and someone who's respectful and someone who has it all together. If I can't do that with the person that I love the most, not even the most, but just like the person that I'm I'm
You're
tying,
choosing to be with.
yeah, I'm choosing to be with. So, you know, just having conversations like this can be like a good reminder of how I can show up as myself constantly because I don't like to look at those parts of me sometimes. I don't like to be upset. I want to be happy and peaceful and all the positive aspects of myself, but you know, we talked about this. I can't remember if it was the last pod, but you know, this being a snake year and being the shedding year and being it's like I can't run away from my shadows anymore. They've been very clear to me where where my lack is coming from and where my projections onto people are coming from and where I just want to be cradled by my mom. Like I actually just want to be loved and I just want to be held and I really do want all the vulnerability and in order to receive that just as much as I want to, that I need to actually practice the art of vulnerability and actually feel through what that means, and that means going through all the parts that I don't like to look at, and I don't like people to look at.
Yeah. I don't even like I don't know if you relate to this either, but I was like void of some of them. Like I've seen them, but like I think judgment kept me from seeing myself in some of them, and then sometimes it was just something I had no idea and had to I knew I had to be prepared to receive the information that I was receiving at times this year, for sure. Um because the layers the layers just there there's a lot of layers, and yeah, everything you said I feel too in my own life, and to an extent, for sure. I can totally I was like snapping. I was like snaps to that. Cuz it's so true. And what a certain transit happening in the sky has taught me is like anything that you've been running from, you just have to face. Like I didn't expect to feel certain things. I didn't expect to feel, see. You hit it right dead on, like the shadows. I had no idea. There are certain ones I had no idea. I was like, where did that come from? I was like, all right. Like, I need to see them. I want to see them. I want to know what's like blocking me from moving forward and stuff like that. It's just like, wow. The amount of time processing for me, because sometimes I process quickly, which has also been kind of a coping, is like pushing myself through things just to get to the other side, where it's like that actually just yeah, I've had to rewrite all that's like the one of the biggest ones I think I've had to rewrite. It's like you don't just you're not just doing this to get to the other side, are you? Because like you're just gonna keep doing that. You're just gonna keep approaching things that way, then you're really just gonna be crossing the same road every time.
Yeah, you don't even realize that you're just manifesting that in a different way because it's just going to be like, okay, do you see it now? Well, how about in this situation? How about in this situation? Like, do you see it? Do you see it? Do you see it? Like, you you will never, no matter how much you numb, like there will be an expression that comes to the forefront, whether that's anger for you, whether that's anxiety, whatever it is, you and I think this would be a good time to even talk about like the phenomenon that's happening currently in our generation with the over identifying with
Labeling.
certain, yes,
I
the
have a perfect
labeling.
description for that, yeah.
Yeah, if you wanna go ahead.
Yeah, so,
Um,
like, I've worked with, like for long periods of time, I've had a few coaching clients I've worked with, and whenever we come up against the labeling and it's great, like, certain parts you need to know how you work, and she's like, "I'm not diagnosed, but I feel like" but then there are certain things that this person was diagnosed for sure. But, like, she was able to get off, like, blood pressure medication, all different types of stuff when we worked together. So, when we would talk about it, I'd be like, "Great. So what is that identifying with that give you?" Because because I'm not someone to go diagnose myself in those ways. My coach will do that for me because she's more in tune and in touch with those specific things. She's just very good at having so much information where it would be helpful to be seen. It made me feel seen. So I'm like, great, it makes you feel seen. Like what can you do with this information now? Like where can you use it to your benefit? Like where does this make you feel more like yourself? Where can you like give yourself permission and not over identify with something to become like the victim to that identification? So like because the victim shadow is extremely huge with me because of the way I've grown up. But of course, like, obviously, that's like a big one we can all connect to. But overcoming the victim in these different areas of my life, that's why I thought that was what was helping was not labeling myself. But I realized I needed to identify with things in order to overcome the victim because if there's a diagnosis for it, it's not just me, right? So it made me feel seen. It made me feel, and I would just ask a client, it's like, okay, great. So like, what can you do with this information? Like, where is it helpful? But where can you see this being harmful? Like, where are you overly, like when they're able to get there too. It's not something that is always brought out right away. It really depends on the person's temperament. But being able to say yes, and like, this isn't for you to, to stop you from growing, especially if certain things keep repeating in your life and that's like if you start blaming or pointing any kind of finger outside of yourself, like if something continuously reoccurs in your life, it's reoccurring in your life for a reason. So you then become victim to your own circumstances. And I think like we don't have to get all up into the, you know, government control of everything, but I think that's what they want. They don't want us to feel empowered, right? They want to have like there's a sense of wanting power over people. So any way we can break free of power dynamics, I think is really important. Like where can this be helpful? And then where does it get to a point where it's like you're almost abusing it or abusing, where's the line, right? So it depends on how you function in life too, right? It depends on your whole criteria of where you're at in life too. Like maybe it's something that's huge that you have to really dive deep in, or maybe it's something that you just like needed a little, oh great, now I know, and you can move along. But yeah.
yeah, I think when, and of course it's a case by case basis, like you
Yeah.
said. I just know that whenever whenever I have to face, like I'm trying to think of this in terms of people that I've actually spoken to, especially the younger generation where, the pills are very prevalent, and pills meaning, anxiety, suppressants, a lot of suppressants. Like I think in my youth, alcohol was used as a suppressant.
Drugs, like
Um,
just recreational drugs.
yeah, just recreational
That
drugs. It was like
was how we grew up.
yeah, it wasn't seen as like I was trying to do this. I was just trying to turn up and have a good time. And then
Sorry, Adderall and like Ritalin and stuff were just coming around a lot more
Yes.
when I was in high school, when we were in high school, not at the same place, but it was around for a lot longer, but that's when it started showing up in my life.
Yes, and I think every, decade or so has, certain qualities where, they lean towards. And I think that
They're all sober,
this
but on
one,
pharmaceuticals.
yeah, this one coming around, I think it's more of like, how can we, there's also this education about like hormones and balancing and all this stuff, but it's also like, here's a pill to do that instead of trying to understand
Yourself.
why is your body dysregulated? Why is your body not producing, these specific hormones? Like, instead, they're like, we're going to suppress this that's heightened so that you can get a counter reaction to that. And I think messing with that when you're so young and you haven't even been fully developed has a lot of consequences. And I don't think, and I hope, obviously, I hope everybody, which is something that you had said earlier about, I'm just hoping that people get certainty when they get certainty, whenever that
Like
is.
for
But like, I
clarity, yeah.
always pray for other certainty because I see certain things in other people's lives that are being overtaken by the substitution of drugs. And parents being okay with it because a doctor said it's okay, then it should be okay. And it's like, listening to these authority figures at a young age is, I think, and there's a lot of people who do push back, right? Like, I guess I've just been surrounded by, in my own life, a lot of especially young women who want to feel included, and that inclusion is, like I said, for me was alcohol, and now it's anxiety medication.
Yeah.
Um,
I have a few things to respond to.
yeah, go ahead.
The first thing is science facts. We're not doctors, but we already know that. The other thing I want to riff off was like, it's not just the supplementation of pills because honestly, some people like really say they work, but it's more of just like, what are we doing to help get you off of them? Like, it's like, everything we're talking about goes back to reparenting and that like all that deeper connection and like how we're not meant to do things the same way. So again, we're just not meant to do that way. That's why we have these opinions. Not that I need to explain that, but like it's a very different opinion than most people, but also like if it's helping you, and if you're so young, right, that's a constant filtration through your liver amongst all the other things you're doing, eating, whatever the fuck. What are they teaching you about your nutrition? What are they teaching you about this? What are they like, where are like, for me, it's like, great, do that, but like, guide people with education. Like, we know as practitioners, we need references. We need people who do different things that we don't do just in case someone needs different or special attention that we can't give them. And I just think that's important. So it's like, even though like structures are changing and are going to, and like, I think this will become even more important, and I hope that it does. I also hope those women and any young girl out there who's experiencing this, or any any person, is just like, learn to question things, learn to learn to advocate for yourself, for your own thing. Like, I don't care how young you are. Think about if you were having a child, like think about the disconnection that you might have. Like, it's okay to look a little deeper at things if it's a chronic thing. Is your intuition just like really fucking tapping in? Are you not around the right people? Are you not in the right spaces? If you at all associate with being empathetic or highly intuitive at a young age, you may need to protect yourself a lot more. You may be exposed to like, there's so many things I definitely didn't know. But I knew I also wasn't going to go certain ways because there's just so much in my life that guided me not to do that. But it's just like not being afraid to ask questions, like not being afraid to say, is this the only way? And why do I say that? And it sounds like a lot of work and it sounds like this. Well, number one, don't be lazy with yourself. Don't just accept that for you. Like, this is the you. And I'm going to get start to get more like soulful and preachy in my life, because it's like, I don't know, I've worked so hard, and we've worked so hard to get to a place to say this to myself, is like, give yourself the time that you deserve. Sure, do the supplementary thing that you think will help you, whether it's placebo or not. And then care enough about yourself in this lifetime to say, what else can I do for me? Like, maybe you won't get there right away, but like, it's just literally learning to care for yourself differently. That's all. Because it will make your liver have to process more, and that's a lot of those are certain emotions, and you may be repressing emotions that you're just not used to experiencing or feeling, and there might be even more on top of it. Could be like you coming in with past life shit. Like, there's so many different directions that things can be coming from, that I hope that we like taking a look at like the psychic and energetic ways. Well, I know we take it seriously, so that's all that matters, actually. Like, that's the reframe. And like, I love taking that. I don't know, I just love seeing that approach of like, really, actually the thing that's coming to mind is the wholeness, is like seeing yourself as a whole and not like these pieces that are, you know, like it's all together, like it's all working together.
Yeah, it's all you are multiple things. And I think we can get fixated on things that are louder. And instead of investigating further, we want to suppress them and we want an easy way out, which is usually a pill or a drug or, talking about people or just like venting and offloading onto whoever is around. Like there's so many different ways that people can express these what we see as negative aspects, but like anxiety, rage, sadness, all of those things, if you haven't seen Inside Out or Inside Out 2, see it because those are perfect representation like in an animation of how all the things are necessary to make a whole you. And if you deny yourself those parts, then unfortunately a lot of the times they'll get louder because they want to be seen. And if you don't respect yourself enough to allow yourself to be seen like you would your mom or your dad or your little sister or your little brother or your cats or your dogs or you know if you can have space for all these different people like but you don't allow yourself to feel anxiety in a crowded room and try to discover why that is, then that's all it'll be. It'll just be something that you're experiencing constantly, constantly. And, like you were saying, like it's almost like the attachment to the thing and the wanting of labels, the wanting of feeling seen. Like I just want to relate to somebody. I just want to be seen for like my problems. But little do you know, there's so many people out there who want to be seen from the solution and not just
Yeah.
the problem. How did you get over
Yeah.
this? How did you defeat this? How did you incorporate this? How did you meld back into this? And, you know, I think that there's so much information out there.
So
And
much.
as a young person, I know that it can be really hard and not only to trust yourself, but like who can you trust? Your parents don't always have the answers. They're just people. But they might not even be going through anything close to what you're going through. They might, so they might recommend somebody and that person recommends somebody and it still might be the wrong way. But like Susan was saying, you have to just question everything. Don't take it for face value because we're all just humans trying to figure it out. And unfortunately, no one has the answer but yourself. We're all trying to help each other, but the answer comes from within. The answer comes from how do you feel? What are you, what do you want? I think so much of life has been more of like a tolerance. Like, what can we tolerate? it's like, no, like, what do you accept? What can you actually accept and move from? Because I've done so much tolerating in my life and thinking that this was inevitable. Like, I'm just going to have to deal with these things. And that's another lesson that I'm learning now is that, oh, I don't have to deal with anything. If I want to change something, like you said, putting yourself first and being selfish is what will actually bring you everything that you want. And not, I'm not telling you to be arrogant and a dickhead, but just like,
I mean, they're
and
gonna do what they want
okay, I'm
anyway,
real
right?
PC. What did you say?
They're gonna do whatever they want anyway.
Yeah. I just, I'm just praying for clarity, not only for myself, but for everybody around me. And I'm just really happy that the people that I do listen to who are doctors and lawyers and health practitioners and all these things, like, I'm happy that there are people that are pushing back against what had become at one point the status quo. And now we're having studies that come out and like, wait, what do these things have? Like, what effect do they have long term on your body? Like I just heard about how they're using birth control as an anxiety medication. And I'm like, when did birth control become the tool where they're just like, oh, dysregulated hormones? Here you go. Oh, anxiety? Here you go. Oh, depression? Here you go. It's like, it's called birth control. It was meant to be made to control conception. So,
Well, they're trying to play like God with our hormones.
yeah.
And by doing that, it has shown that it doesn't work entirely. I mean, it could again supplement for some people. Again, like
And it does.
there's a
It
lot of
does.
shame around it. So I remember when I was told that too from my strong, passionate feelings as someone who's never taken it, but that's obviously my choice. It's just, and yeah, but like everything you said, there's just so much around it. I think it's wild that it's like steroids. It's like that's what they give you steroids for everything. It's like for women, it's birth control. It's like it's
Depression is
all the
depression.
reason why they do that is because there's just now information coming out about things we had no idea about. So it's like don't feel bad for it, and also just like when you're ready and have the energy, ask the questions because you know if one thing we're learning is like it's all really there's always going to be experimentation and growth and I don't know, listening to my intuition has definitely helped a lot. So like whatever reconnects you to that part of yourself that just trusts yourself because the other thing you said about going to your doctor is like just what I learned is like we want to be told what to do. Like that's again another area where we just give our power away naturally to someone because of their authority that they have in life. And I didn't have the greatest experiences with doctors. So, but not, I also didn't go to a lot either, to be honest with you. However, I think that's that's a part of like the spiritual revolution that's happening. Like you said, is like listening to yourself. But even more than that is like, I've been playing with the idea of my master self instead of my higher self. The higher self I love, but I've heard it forever. And I don't know, there's certain things that just don't click for me. So I'm trying to find my uniqueness and what works for me. And I realize the master self helps for some reason. It clicks a little more. Because I've been told that message through different mediums by different people of like, it's all inside of you. Like, that's always my fucking prediction. It's all inside of you. I'm like, great. Where? Is it in my heart? Is it in my stomach? Like, just give me a direction, anything? No. So, what does that even mean? Well, it's just like actually sitting with myself in times of not really of the unknown, like not just going because I love listening, I love learning, I love information. Like I can listen to new information. I love absorbing that stuff, but it's also what point, which I'm still working through, does it disconnect me from me? And where does it connect me to the God within? Where does it separate me? And I think that's really helpful because I've had more authority over my own health for a while, but it's because I, again, default chosen, it was just my path. But like having authority over, like, even if you are prescribed something, even if you are given something to take, still saying I'm taking, like choosing that, not just saying, okay, I'm taking it, like, okay, I have to take this thing. But it's like when you go to take it, you're just saying, like, I'm choosing this right now. Like, this is my decision. You're not just doing it because you're told, right? That even changes the power dynamic too.
Yeah, and I also like to think of if you're taking anything because it's like just think of like I'm trying this out. I'm just experimenting.
Doesn't have to
Like,
be forever.
yes,
Yeah.
I don't have to
Yeah.
be like this is
That's
my
where
new
the
personality.
mindset goes with people.
Yes. They're like, "Oh, I so
Yes.
many times I hear people who volunteer this information to me because I never ask, but tell
There's a
me,
reason. There's got to be something.
right? Like I'm broken, I'm fucked up,
Yeah.
it's like
That's where you get your
you're none
that
of those things.
validation.
Those are parts of you. Those
Yeah.
are just pieces.
Yeah.
There's not it's like if one what I think is like if one is overpowering your sense of self, then it's like you're probably not experiencing the vastness of your other emotions. You're probably blocking out the goodness and the happiness and the sadness, like all the things you're not experiencing enough of yourself. And that's scary. It's scary for me now. Having to fucking cry all the fucking time or tell myself I can yell, I can scream, I can be big and I can be irrational and I can be the full scope of what I am. I'm a human being. Like, you think kitties are sitting out here stressed if they've
Just hanging out
slept
with the
too
kitty.
long? Have they eaten too much? They
No, they
don't
just stretch.
know. They just move. They say, "Oh, I'm getting up now. Oh, I'm sitting down now. Oh, I'm gonna go poop right fucking here." Like, and I'm stressed out going on a plane and pooping in a public restroom. That's something separate, but it's like but I'm just getting at it's like
We're gonna
there's
now
just
talk about our shit habits.
dude, just like
Poop
shame and
habits.
guilt and like all these things that make up so much of us is it's overstimulating and you don't realize that if you just
Which keeps us from our intuition.
yeah, if you just like sampled it. Like you don't have to be fully deep down depressed, right? I'm not telling you to go into a complete spiral that you don't know how to get out of. Like I want you to trust that maybe you can't face those things right now.
Yeah, that's the thing, is like, don't push yourself through what you're not ready to go through.
Yeah, but like
Meeting
once
yourself where you're at is like the ultimate gift.
yeah, it really is. It really is because
You don't want to
it's
be
the
there, but
choice.
that's why you got to be there.
Yeah,
No, it's
it's
like
the choice.
it's very yoga. Like, it's like really important because you can really hurt yourself. And that's the psyche.
Yeah, more is not always better.
No, so psyche is related to the element of electricity. So, like lightning, think of how powerful it is. It could be either beautiful, but it can also be extremely damaging,
Yeah.
extremely destructive.
Yeah, it's like the power within yourself is, I was thinking about this the other day about, the theory that everything is energy,
Yeah,
right?
we're
And
slow moving.
and it's like, well, you know, everything is energy, but all of that energy is manifested differently.
Hmm.
All of it.
Hmm.
So it's like, just chalking it up, it's like, oh yeah, well, everything is energy. It's just like, yeah, but some things are way more powerful than other ones. Some are very subtle. Some strong energy can be very, very subtle. Some things take a long time to hit. Some things are just like electricity, just that like thunderbolt. It's like, and
Just
that's
depends on the
why
person
life
who
can
has
feel
to.
overwhelming.
Yeah. Well, the overwhelm, like you said, overwhelm. Actually, I was going to say this, so I'm glad you brought this up. And it's good I'm not holding on to everything because I wanna be as present as possible. Um, is that numbing we think we've said this before, but, like, numbing is overwhelm. Like, it's the same thing, so whatever you numb the most probably will come out, like, in a reckoning of, like, a big emotion or a big release perhaps, or it will feel bigger because you've been repressing it or suppressing it for so long. So that's why it's like you can't say enough, but like really be gentle with yourself because you don't want to ruin the relationship with yourself either. You know, like that's the most important one to keep is the one that you have with yourself. So like when you say you're going to do something, try to do it. Like especially if it's good for you and the momentum's there, like do your best to do it, even if it's just like a little bit at a time. So if you're someone who's like the most general thing is like going to the gym, I'm someone whose movement is my medicine. I actually have to like make myself take a day off. But it's also my own thing and my own not that everything has to be like shit to work through, but really like it has been like I need to like chill sometimes. But even on days I didn't want to, and even though I know it would make me feel better, I just leave my clothes out. Like that's my first step. I can get into them. I don't have to see how I feel. Right? So, like, just small things, like, what would you do as a parent? Like, I would love to just, like, lay my kids' clothes out, but chances are they're gonna want a different outfit if I don't, you know what I mean? Like, that's the way my life would work, probably. But, like, following through even just, like, a little bit is, like, learning to trust yourself and
And knowing that
trust
it looks different for
that process.
everyone.
Yeah, and that too,
You
that's
don't
like
have to
the
do a full hour at the gym or full 30
no,
minutes at the gym, or you don't even have to
you probably
leave your
can't.
house. You can literally do some sit-ups, you can, do a kickback, you can dance around.
Yeah, maybe you just, like, go to the gym for an hour and, like, walk and, like, actually just walk around and get into, like, the vibe of the place. Like, maybe
Yeah,
you just,
maybe you
like,
just sit on one
scope
machine
it
the whole
out.
fucking time. Yeah, like,
Maybe you're
but
just,
you
like, a
did it.
weirdo.
Yeah, just stare at people like the men
Yeah.
do.
Yeah, like, maybe you just get accustomed
Just
maybe you just drive there and you're like, "Maybe I'll go in."
so many times I've done that.
Yeah.
I remember one time I went to the gym and I was like, I'm gonna be, I want these goals. I want this ass. I'm gonna be fucking motivated. I got to the gym and
These goals,
was
I love this.
overcome with anxiety. And I said, you know what? You know what actually I'm gonna do? We're gonna get this ass fat a different way. We're gonna go to Burger King and we're gonna buy, I don't know what I think it was like a Whopper or something. I haven't been there in so long, but I just bought a bunch of shit off the menu. I ate it and then I went for a walk and I was like, there you go. Committed to that.
There we have it.
And we just committed to this fat ass today. And that was it. And then the next day I went to the gym and I was fine. But like, you know, the hardest thing for me has been consistency. Like I'm consistent for a bit, but when I think about my life as a whole, it's like the little bit of consistencies that I've had have brought me to this place where I am 10 times as better as I was when I was severely depressed, severely overweight, and severely overrun with grief and anxiety and sadness and all of these things. Like I'm in such a better place, but it didn't look like doing that forever.
Yeah, that goes all the way that's a great way to round that out too. It's like, it's not forever. Like,
Yeah.
that's where I guess it is a part of changing your mindset of, like, really trusting that change will reveal itself. Like, this will affect my choices, affect my day. This will make a trickle effect in my life.
It's like a life commitment. Like we
It's
get
a lifestyle
so
change. Like, that's why
yes.
diets, like, eating disorder talk is for definitely for another day, but, like, that's why, like, I don't believe in diets, like, unless, like, it's for a health literal perspective, like,
I'm
it
starting
definitely
not to believe in diets either, as
it's
someone who
but
has
for
dieted a lot.
yeah, for someone who's been through so much of that in so many different way perspectives and so many things that so many different ways I thought about it, and then like the roots of it all, like real roots of it, and to have such a deep relationship with my body in that way, I'm very blessed, even though it was like very tragic and sad and unfortunate, for sure. And I do my best because it does make me sad at different times. It does bring up different things, but it also is like I have so much wisdom to share now, and I can actually say that like with like my heart and like honesty is like I really have a lot of wisdom to share with that, and that's why like I can truly be like you can have this conversation with your body, and I still have to remind myself of that. Like your body's listening to you, listening to every thought, and the ones you're agreeing with and the ones that you're not. Like, so even if you do go in a fucking spiral, just notice how come back to your body. What's it feeling? What's it feeling? It's showing you a lot about whatever you're thinking about. Like, fuck those people, maybe. Like, just fuck them. Like, you don't need to. That's a big one for me. Like, who cares? Like,
Yeah.
like,
Why do we care so much?
whatever. It's none of
And
my
then
like the biggest one. None of my
my
business. Like, it's none of
business.
my
That's the
business.
anthem.
And
My
if like
business.
I really want to like know about your business, like, wow, like I used to like be in way too many people's business. I don't even know how I got there. It's crazy. And yeah. So I just think it's like really I just think that's like a super important thing to remember.
Yeah, make yourself your own business. That's the only business that you need is yourself. And
Yeah.
how can you
And good support.
coddle and
Like,
conquer yourself?
yeah. I guess, well, a lot of things you're saying are so funny because they're so like next year in Aries and like what we're preparing for in 2027, like of like this huge shift that's happening. Um, yeah, I'm really excited for it, even though some people are like nervous for it, but I don't know. I know. And trusting your body and connecting with your body is really important, even if you're not someone who like subscribes to having an eating disorder or ED, because like on the internets they don't really love that phrasing, but
Mhm.
has been the word for it before the other one, if you know what I'm saying. But and that's why I feel like I have to normalize the conversation. I feel like I'm someone who definitely this is going to be a part of my life. This is a part of my life. And reminding people to have like that they have ownership over their body, even if they don't feel that way in their life externally all the time. Like just having that conversation with yourself. And like, even if you're, preparing to leave something hard or in a position where you don't feel like you have control, it's not always easy, but like having that conversation with yourself and listening to your body is going to teach you so much. Because I could cry when we do have that conversation. I probably will. I'll probably cry. I'll probably be very passionate. There will be all these emotions because your body is what's carrying, call it whatever, your soul, it's carrying you through this life. Like that's your ultimate companion. Like, I know it sounds like I'm talking about someone totally separate from myself, but it's not. Like, this is my companion. That's what having a deep, dysfunctional, and deeply just fucked up body has taught me is like, this is what I've got. If I can't be honest, and we can't have an honest, like, whatever, if I can't be honest and hear the truth and hear the things with you, then how am I supposed to, like, function? How am I, like, me specifically, how am I supposed to function? So, taking that step by step has been like a really powerful thing. So just like taking yourself step by step, no matter where you're at, whether it's with your body or if it's with another area of your life, like be willing to trust the wisdom, back to like even Saturn we were talking about in the beginning. It's like that step by step consistency that Rebecca brought up too. That consistency.
Yeah. Showing up for yourself consistently.
Yeah.
You can
You would do it for someone else, like
no one else can do it. And I know I've said that before, but like nobody else can do it. And it sucks sometimes when you're like, I'm the one that's in my way. I am the one, but it is true. You are the one that's in your way, but you have the power to also change that. So if you know, right? Because some people are like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to change. I don't know, like, what am I, you know, the
You do.
quieter I get within myself,
You do. You know.
the more I hear my voice, the more my voice comes up. It's like, put the phone down, stop texting your girlfriends about the fucking problem, stop trying to
Eventually,
offload
they'll
your
stop
problem.
texting you back too, by the way. Eventually, like,
Right.
people just won't show up. And not because they don't want to, just because
And
'cause you're
take
not
that as a
showing up for
lesson.
yourself. Oh my
Yeah.
god, I
It's like
can't.
so many lessons. Well, it's
It's
like
not abandonment all the time.
it isn't, and that's
It's you abandoning yourself.
rounding the corner to the victimhood. That is
Yeah,
a big lesson I'm learning, like, now that I'm
so
thinking about
big.
it, it's like being a victim is so
It's so
tricky, it's
tricky
so
because
tricky.
it's
You think
valid, it's
it's
extremely valid.
valid, you
Oh,
think you're like,
man.
"No, I should stand up for myself. No, I should be this. No, I should da 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 da." And it's like, but you can get quiet, you can take a breath, you can touch your body, you can touch your heart, you can touch your shoulder, hug yourself, pat yourself on the head if you need to, rub your knee and be like, "It's alright. Wait, it's alright." Because even though the feelings are real, they may not always be the thing that's in front of you. This may be an old ass wound from when your mom hit you across the face for saying something that you believed in, right? Like it can go so far back to the ancestors that, were living in caves and shit. Like,
Yeah.
you know, but if you're not quiet and if you don't think, I do have the answer, if you don't think, well, maybe I should listen to myself, it's like you can get lost in the weeds and things can be overwhelming. Now I'm getting too into it, but just trust that in the quiet, the answer will come. From wherever it comes from, whether it's a feeling in, a back crack, whether it's the thought that I am a good person, whatever it may be, it all just comes back to you giving time to yourself, giving yourself the space.
Give yourself what you didn't have or what you needed more of, whatever you needed more of.
And trust you know what you need.
Yeah, that's a big one. Trust whatever comes up, even if it's like weird. That's like the funnest parts of my what I do is that actually is what works. Is like trust even you don't understand it, you don't have to.
And that brings me, like, we won't get into that today, but it just brings me into how the outside tools of astrology, or how the outside it's like when you have like just a concept of what yourself is, when you understand a little bit of that, that's when all these other tools come into play, because you have this like basis you can go off of, and you're not just conforming to, astrology or human design or whatever it may be, but it's like now it's like you can see the proof. Instead of looking for the proof, you can see it from the inside.
Well, it's also even just there's something else I was saying, but what's coming to mind first is this is just like the supplementation. It's just like a prescription. Like it's just like taking that, like this is the first thing, but then what are the when you're ready, what are the action steps and like what
Yeah.
is the time frame you think you could be ready, right? Like what's the preparation time for the next step and what that looks like because it's just like creating something or birthing. It's all of it's very similar. It's not like they're not it's not different. It's not different and I just think that our head like our physical bodies they're just very important. They're so like, they say a lot about, like, the brain being, like, the receiver for the outside world, and your body, like, on a very physical level, wherever however you're wired is how you're gonna receive and see things. Like, that's just conditioning, that's your process, that's your physical body's reaction as well, and then in whatever goes off in your brain, right? Whatever you're accustomed to. So, it's even just as simple as, like, I'm open. I am open to whatever I need to move through. It will show up. It'll show up over and over again. Like for those for most people who are like, I don't want to do like if you're here, you most likely like to look into things. That's what we do. But it's just like you don't have to. Like I'm learning to pull back and like see things like for me, it's perfect because Rebecca is like always aligned with the star. Like people who come close to me in their life, they're like always so aligned. So I'm just like, it's crazy. So I don't have to go anywhere. Like people just say things and I'm like, okay, like cool. Like this is so true. Like it just connects. And it's not something I'm like always looking for, even though it would make sense that I would be because of what I study. But really, I just know I now trust that like people are always going to show me how this is working out in life and I get to reference it. And there's so many things that you have said that have triggered like the things I was looking into for next year and what's coming up next year. So I was thinking just to get people thinking about the next pod into transition because we're about that time is for next one we should talk about like what we're looking forward to, maybe I'll connect some things for us, like just little things, and say what's like could be important. We can like kind of start the conversation with that and then like go into whatever like kind of what we did today, but like get people like thinking about okay, like could be
in
this is the
store.
shifts that are happening, like, this is what we're entering this year with because pretty much, like, the Chinese zodiac is, like, spot on, like, around the time of when we really shift if we're talking astrological New Year's, is when everything is shifting, like, when at least Saturn and Neptune are finally transitioning into Aries, and Uranus will go direct, not necessarily change, but the things that you were talking about even earlier all the emotions are lining up with certain transits, like, that was pinging out like, so many things move through my brain personally. I'm like, I'll only get to say this, but, like, 6 other things are being connected. So, like, the lungs just for one example, and then we'll save this for the next. Grief. I don't know one person who hasn't been experiencing grief at some point in their life for, like, ever, but the past few years, and will eventually station in Gemini, which rules over the lungs and a few other things, but lungs are pretty prominent and hold grief. There's more, but they also expand and contract. So that should show us that grief just has a lot of different layers and openings and closings. So, and a lot's ending in Pisces. So there's also grief with just the endings that are being moved through in our lives. So if you feel very self-centered in that way, like Rebecca said earlier, don't be afraid of like feeling self-centered in that way. If you're feeling just even the energetics of grief or needing more space to breathe, needing more space for yourself in the next few months, because it's actually quite important to what's coming up. And selfishness, like it's everything you've been saying, like literal keywords. Like just go back through this episode, listen to all the keywords she said, and just know that it will come up in the next episode where it's just like such a crucial time
Yeah, and we can
for
really
that.
expand on
Yeah.
what's to come, what's to be excited about, what's to consider. And yeah, I can't wait for that talk. I'm so happy that we got to talk because we had a little hiatus.
Yeah. Season
Um,
2. Welcome back.
so yeah, I'm really excited to get into all the growth possibilities and yeah, what a time to be alive. Always, and I'll always say that no matter what time it is. What a
No, for
time.
real. If you're alive right now, like I know that this probably isn't super cliche yet, but like just know that it's like really important. Like if you don't feel significant in your life, I want you to know like just being born and alive right now is significant. It just is. Coming
Absolutely.
to you from me in my apartment, and we are in my apartment.
Yeah.
That's where we're coming from. We're live floating on Earth right now in
Yeah.
our bubble, and that's where
Yeah. This is the sacred bubble where well, we try not to have judgment as best we can. And oh my God,
we have opinions, but
can I sing us out in the
we're
most
open
ratchet um song that I made up about us?
to whatever you
Okay.
want,
All right, here we
girl.
go.
It's your
Uh,
thing.
uh, uh, two bad bitches, not about the body, but the grace. Two bad bitches, listen to the pod at your own pace. Bad bitches, we ain't here to judge. We trying to spread some love and make a couple bucks. Sacred bad bitches. You know when that came out? When I was silent.
Huh?
I was sitting alone in my room meditating, and that's what came up. So
I was like,
meditation doesn't always look the same, people.
yeah. As someone who's been meditating for half my life, it does not look the same.
My best
We can have a whole episode on that where I could lead us through meditation too.
yeah. And before we get too deep into the weeds about everything that we want to do next,
I'm writing
I'm
it
just gonna
down
close
too,
this
so we can
out.
always cut this out.
Yeah, true.
You already sang us out anyway, so we're over. We're done.
Okay. That's good.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Bye. From your bad bitches. Sacred bad bitches. SB